Hillary
Don Draper's
Clinton,
old Buick.
everybody listen to me, please.
Please, okay, here we go.
Hillary Clinton's biggest advantages come from non-white voters, with a 79-point lead among African Americans and with a 48-point lead with Latinos. With women, Clinton has a 13-point lead and a 23-point lead with young voters. Donald Trump's edge comes among white voters, who he leads Clinton by 16 points, an 11-point lead with senior citizens, a 9-point lead among men, and a 5-point edge with independent voters.
Can we go back
with
to the
Trump's numbers?
Can we go back to the last? Hold on a second. So look, Latinos, 68 to 20. Obviously, Mitt Romney had 27% back in, according to exit polls in 2012. It's a reason many thought he lost the election. How is Trump sitting at 20% and tied in a lot of these polls?
Well, what's interesting is if you look at all those numbers you just showed, both of those screens, it is striking how similar that is to Obama-Romney 2012. The white vote, if you extrapolate it a little bit, you're basically where Romney was. Romney won white voters by 20 points. Right. It's a 16-point margin there, and they're not both at 100. You have some undecideds and everything in there. Independents, that's basically where Romney was. Men, that's basically where Romney was. So he's a little bit off when it comes to Latino voters. But overall, for all the talk that Donald Trump, the never Trump crowd on the Republican side saying, my God, we might as well not have the election if this guy's nominee, I think his starting point is Mitt Romney's finishing point in 2012.
Steve laid it out perfectly, which is if you look at where Trump is now in that poll, the NBC Wall Street Journal poll, he's got a baseline. The question is he going to move up or going to move down? Right. And Trump has just begun to fight. On the other hand, the Clinton folks have superior infrastructure, more money right now, a better general election plan. These national polls don't tell you where he is in the general election, but I continue to believe that Trump is going to make a play for male Hispanics, male African Americans in a way that might get him close enough to Romney's numbers. And he will do better with men and with white voters than Mitt Romney did.
And probably older voters.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and with working class voters. So he's got some areas where he can move up compared to Romney. As long as he moves up a little bit with Hillary Clinton's coalition, there's the math there. But again, the Clinton people are counting on this being not Trump's starting point from which he'll move up, but a point from which he'll move down, because they'll try to destroy him with these other groups.
But Steve, I'm with you. I look at these numbers. He is starting where Mitt Romney ended. If you listened to press coverage over the past 9 months, you would think Donald Trump would be well below where Mitt Romney ended with Hispanics in 2012. So if I were in Trump's campaign organization right now, I wouldn't be discouraged. I'd say, okay, we have room to grow.
Well, and you can take any one of those groups, and Mark's starting to do it there. You could lay out a sort of a targeted strategy that if you drive up one or two of those groups, you can erase your 3-point gap. I mean, I remember at the end of the 2012 campaign, one of the reasons that the conventional wisdom after 2012 was Republicans are doomed electorally in the future unless they do immigration reform, unless they radically increase their support among Latinos, was nobody thought a Republican could do better among white voters than Mitt Romney did in 2012 in the context of that election, 59%. I don't think that's an automatic assumption.
No.
I mean, if Donald Trump bumps that up to 61, 62%, and white voters are still making up more than 3/4 of the electorate, that is a significant jump. And I don't think we can sit here in May and say he's not going to do that.
No, there's no way you can.
Put the Trump groups back up.
Put the Trump groups back up, guys.
That includes white voters. Right? So he's at 52 now. I think that can go up. Joe, you said seniors. I think seniors can go up. Men, I think that number can go up. Independents probably can go up, probably the least likely of them. But again,
but there is no doubt
that
with those top three groups. He's at 52% with whites, 52% with seniors, 49% with men. Yes, I think all three of those numbers can and likely will go
And this
up.
is why the Bernie Sanders challenge is such a problem, because as she is pinned to the left, competing with Bernie Sanders, the Democratic convention might look like a socialist festival.
Right.
It's going to hurt her, in theory, with white voters, with male voters, and with older voters.